Once we've entered an invoice from our vendor, the next step is to issue a payment to that vendor. So in this video, we're going to go over the process of printing a check to be sent to the vendor. So the first thing we have to decide which vendors it is that vendors it is that we want to pay. There's two most common methods of doing that. First is to use like a due date cutoff. So if I select that here and then on the calendar here, I can pick. And then whichever date I pick, any invoice that is due on or before the chosen date will get selected to get paid. I can do the same thing with a discount date. So if I get a terms discount from any of my vendors, I can do the same sort of thing so that any invoice whose discount date is on or before my selected date will get added to get paid, and we'll print a check. My other option, most commonly used option here, is to decide which vendors I want to pay ahead of time, looking at a cash requirements report or something like that. And if I know which vendor it is I want to pay, I can just type in their name here and then click the insert here and add them to my batch. And then once I've made my selection here, at the top here, I hit the build batch button. And you can see here at the top of my screen here now my batch total is $420.25. So we have added, well, an invoice or invoices for the selected vendor with that amount. And I can repeat that process as many times as I need for as many vendors as I need or as many different date cutoffs as I need. But once we have selected the invoices that we want to pay, we can, on this edit payment batch here, and this brings up a list of my vendors here that I do owe money to. And when I click on the vendor in question, I can see my voucher number, the due date, and the amount due. And I could check or uncheck to remove this particular invoice that's going to be paid, or I could select a different vendor and click on one of their vouchers to add it to the current batch of checks that I'm going to be printing. But if everything looks good, you have the invoices selected that you want, then we're going to hit the print payments button here. Okay, and then it will automatically fills in my next check number for my checkbook. If for some reason that's wrong, I can select a different check number. And then I already have a check format selected, and then I just need to hit print to print a check. Uh, and I can select to send it to a printer, and then just hit OK. Or actually, in this case, we're just going to send it to the screen. So I get my check stub here at the top, and then underneath that, I get my check. And now on this last screen here, we have our post payments window. So if everything is correct, everything worked just fine, I can have post payment selected here, and I can just hit process, and then that'll be the end here. I do have the option to either, if I've made a mistake and I need to void a payment, or more commonly, if I need to reprint a payment. So if I selected the wrong printer, or if I, selected the right printer, but it didn't print out on the pre-printed check form, it just printed out on a regular piece of paper, then I can reprint one of my checks. But if everything went great, I just select post payments here, click the process, and then I get my series of posting reports. Okay, so now my check has been posted, and these are my posting reports. This first one just provides me with information on the check and the vendor who was made out to. And then next one here is my distribution breakdown, so I can see my credit here to my cash account and my debit to my accounts payable account. And then the last one here is my check register, so I can see my check number 21045, the vendor it was made out to, and the amount.